struggled with RCs a lot. Like I remember when I joined Top, the first worksheet that I did for RCs, I think there were 10 RCs in that with two questions for RCs.
Mm-hmm.
And out of the 20 questions, I got one question right. So,
Okay.
in our college, top 1% has been a very, very prominent GMAT coaching institution. Like
Mm-hmm.
Sandeep sir himself has taken at least 3 webinars for our college.
Mm-hmm.
Like for our college, in fact, it's a very, very normal thing to say, "Haan, I'm doing it from top 1%," because it becomes the norm. Like you have this mock exams and the mock portal itself is the holy grail.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the chance of doing only one study material, right? If you have the time to do only one study material, complete the mock portal. Like that is all you need, honestly. Because for me, the mock portal was an exact simulation of what the paper was. Even
Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for your time. And
no problem at all.
very big congratulations on getting a GMAT 695. It's
Thank you so much.
I mean, it's very, very new. I think you got the score yesterday, right?
Yeah, like it's been 2 days since I gave my exam. Like I gave it on 28th, I think. So
Okay.
like 3 days.
Okay. And you haven't gotten the report as of right now, correct?
No, I checked it right now as well. I haven't received any updates from the.
Got it. Perfect. Yeah, we'll see that report later on. As of now, big congratulations on 695. And do you remember exactly how did it feel when you actually got the score?
It felt really satisfying, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, there was also a bit of a disappointment that just because of a few marks, I was not able to cross the 700 threshold.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I mean, since I've talked to multiple people after this, including Richa,
Mm-hmm.
and like this is a good score, and it has opened almost all doors to all universities. So honestly, feeling satisfied right now. I feel that the work has paid off, and if needed, we can do a second attempt later on. But right now, I feel this is a good score, and I'll move on with this.
Exactly. I mean, from the sports perspective, from the school perspective, I think it reaches the bar for any in the school, frankly. And I mean, if you have a mental mindset, sometimes we can try to develop a mental mindset of kill that bar, then that's a different thing. But from the school perspective, it's completely fine with the schools, frankly. So we can begin with telling a little bit about yourself, like what have been you've been doing, and how you came to know about top 1%. Also, how you came to know about doing your MBA, what made you decide, things like that.
Yeah. So first of all, a brief introduction about myself. I'm Aryan, and I am pursuing Bachelor's of Management Studies at the College of Business Studies, which is in Delhi University. I've just completed my second year, and I'm now pursuing my summer internship. My decision to do a GMAT and more specifically to do an MBA relies on multiple factors. First of all, an MBA from a good college, along with better job prospects, also includes a number of connections and a very, very good alumni network. Any major college in the world which has been around for close to for many decades has a very well established alumni network which can help me in connecting myself to the right people so that I can get the right guidance to pursue whatever field of interest that I choose.
Mm-hmm.
And not necessarily an academic field. Even if I choose to go through an extracurricular one, these colleges usually have a very holistic alumni base.
Correct. Yeah.
So that was one of the main motivating factors that I had to do an MBA. And when I looked online, I saw that GMAT is a very, very holds a very high percentage. Whenever you talk about MBA outside, I think it's about 40% of the whole application. Depends on GMAT scores for some colleges.
For some colleges, yeah. It varies. It totally varies on those colleges, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I felt that, let's try and attempt for GMAT and make sure that at least this part of the application is clear. Then we can move on and try to work on the profile that we're trying to build. So that was the main motivator for my MBA. In general, what was the next question? I think I forgot the other question.
How you came to know about top 1%?
Yeah. So in our college, top 1% has been a very, very prominent GMAT coaching institution. Like Sandeep sir himself has taken at least 3 webinars for our college. Like for our college, in fact, it's a very, very normal thing to say, I'm doing it from top 1% because it becomes the norm. Like you have emerging institutes as well. But, the seniors that I asked, the professors that I asked, all of them recommended that you should join top 1%. And, they have a very detailed study plan, a very do-it-yourself system, which helps you to do it at your own pace, even if you choose live lectures.
Yeah.
And that appealed to me because, as a college student as well, we had very busy schedules in general.
Yes.
We had multiple things that we had to focus on in both years. So, to have a coaching system that, also is based a lot on self study and practicing at your own time was both beneficial, and also, it taught me responsibility and discipline as well.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when did you actually join the top 1%?
So I joined Top in August 2024.
Okay. Got it. Got
In
it.
July, August 2024.
Yeah. So when you joined top 1%, what were the initial barriers you were facing in terms of the topics? What would you say, for example, would be your weaker area that you were facing a lot of trouble with?
Yeah. So I feel my quantitative ability has always been a strong suit. Like even when I was giving papers such as CVT, GMAT and all, quant was always a strong suit for me. I really struggled in verbal and RCs.
Okay.
Although we are still to find out, like I this time as well had, I think, the lowest percentile in verbal,
Okay.
but it was still much better than what I expected I would
Mm-hmm.
receive, because I struggled with RCs a lot. Like I remember when I joined Top, the first worksheet that I did for RCs, I think there were 10 RCs in that with two questions per RCs.
Mm-hmm.
And out of the 20 questions, I got one question right.
Okay.
So initially, I felt that, this, because initially you don't have a system,
Yes, of
it
course.
suddenly feels like the RC is very hard to comprehend in itself.
Yes.
So that was a very, very weak suit for me, as well as the topics were verbal in general. I also struggled with multi-source reasoning in DI as well.
Okay.
Multi-source reasoning was also a complicated topic for me
Yeah.
initially, but I got accustomed to it. I won't say I perfected it, but I got accustomed to both these topics through practicing by a mock portal,
Okay.
which was a very, very good simulation of what the actual paper gives you.
Got it. So when you're saying you didn't have any structure when it came to RC for the initial bit, were you able to inculcate this habit of octave that is being taught in the top?
Yeah, definitely. Like personally, Octave itself was a game changer, definitely. But I also saw that within Octave there are few things that matter a lot. Like opinion, contrast, like these two are enough to answer most of the questions.
Yeah,
You
correct.
didn't
That's right,
even have
actually.
to do the tone part.
Mm-hmm.
So what I saw was how quickly as well I can answer the questions.
Mm-hmm.
And verification and elimination of options also has helped in not just RC but in every single question.
Mm-hmm.
So even though, like, the best part was it was a very simple method to incorporate, but just by using it for a few RCs, it felt like second nature.
Okay.
So even if there was a prolonged gap between when I practiced RCs,
Mm-hmm.
I was easily able to incorporate Octave and solve questions and have a decent accuracy in it.
Got it. And CR was never that much of an issue. You were able to get a hang of CR decently well.
Actually, like I practiced CR after reading the theories of
Okay. So
Top.
the CR guide, yeah.
So I did not face a problem like since the initial phase,
Okay.
because I think even in our pre-work, we were asked to first read the topics and then start the questions.
Got it.
So CR never actually caused a problem for me.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And when it comes to quant, I mean, I understand that quant was definitely a good site for you.
Yeah.
But did you face any kind of silly mistakes that you tend to make? Because the questions are not that
Definitely,
difficult, but with the language and everything, it can tend to trick
definitely.
you a lot. So you were able to get over that particular period just by practice or something that you applied consciously?
No, definitely. So Quant does, one of the main vices of overconfidence is you tend to overlook certain things in the question, and that's absolutely true. So to make sure that does not happen, I did not, keep Quant aside. I practiced Quant from the sectional test, the 700, 800 questions. I practiced Quant as if it was also a weak section for me, because I knew that the second that I think that Quant will be easy, Quant will, be an achieving section, I'm pretty sure I'll make a mistake in the end
Exactly.
exam, and it would cost me dearly just because I was overconfident. So one of the things that I made sure within my whenever I was practicing was that I give equal justice to all three sections. I'll give more emphasis to the preparation part of verbal and DI, but in the practicing part, I did not leave Quant behind as well.
Got it. Understand. Okay, so when you were going through the entire practice, can you give us in terms of how you were structuring your day? Because it's not it's a lot of questions. It's a question for many people who are actually juggling studies with different studies, because it's very not common for a lot of people who are actually working and planning the GMAT prep, but it's not very common for how to go about this whole thing, because in colleges you have all those events, semester exams comes up, so your intensity has to go down. So how you were managing through the entire period, if you can share that.
Yeah, sure. So I feel, first of all, I would like to put a disclaimer out there. I feel I wasn't the best person to, it's one of the role model of time management. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because I feel that I took a very long time in the preparation.
Okay.
Since like I joined the program in July 2024 and I gave the paper in May 2025.
Yeah.
So it took me around 10 months to give this paper.
Yes.
When the preparation can be done in 4 months. And one of the main reasons why this prolonged preparation period occurred was because I never was able to achieve the confidence that I would be able to do well.
Got it.
But one thing that we have to realize is that you will never achieve it. Even after 10 months, I
Yes.
never felt I would be able to score. But, by the guidance of my parents and all, I felt like, let's give a test run. Let's at least give a first attempt and see what happens. So, first of all, understanding the thing that time management like isn't about the hours, it's about the consistency mostly. Because once you're accustomed to the topics, you need to give around a ballpark of 3 hours per day, 1 hour per section, or in general, to be more specific, give it 2 hours 30 minutes. Like do at least the length of a test.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying, right?
Yes.
So
Yes,
every day, at least practice for 2 hours 30 minutes, so that you can achieve peak concentration at that in that time period. So that when you're giving the actual paper, your brain is trained enough to study for this much amount of time to concentrate to be at its peak levels of productivity.
Exactly.
So personally, I was my main target was to take it easy, to understand and do whatever I was doing well, rather than rushing through topics just to complete the syllabus for the sake of it, and to give at least 2 hours 30 minutes to 3 hours per day, so that I can achieve peak level of productivity and concentration in my real paper, which actually happened.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I mean, you're correct because I mean, with everything, it can be a bit difficult for many people to inculcate this habit of having that level of attention span and maintain that level of attention span effectively for 2.5 hours. So I get what you're saying. You're trying to say that try to develop a habit of sitting for at least the time of limit which is expected out of exam. So yeah, that's nice. And coming on to your exam day itself, you gave your exam on the center or online?
I gave the exam in the center because I actually live in the boys' hostel of my college, and there it was very hard to find an environment where
It's practically impossible.
yeah, if they would be able to servants in 2 hours 30 minutes, it's not possible.
Exactly.
Because no matter which room you find in the college, which room you find in the hostel, there is definitely going to be someone who will interrupt. And judging by how strict the rules are,
Yeah.
I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford that. Also, I've seen this like this personally one of my tricks. But whenever I give the exam in the center, right, like any exam that I given in the center or especially allocated place of an exam, I've always seen that there's a change in mindset. Even if you're not a disciplined person, as soon as you enter an exam center, right, you are the most focused person ever. I've seen this. You actually achieve apex levels of concentration, which you could never achieve in a comfortable space.
That's right. That's correct.
Yeah.
Great.
So I think for me, like I was fortunate enough to have a very good center nearby. So in Delhi, I had a center near Connaught Place, I think. So a very good, very calm center, a very clean center, very good people there. In general, the system had no glitches, and I feel GMAT in general has very good centers all over the country.
Yeah.
So it's always better, according to me, to give the paper at the center, since you actually are according to the exam environment there.
Correct. Yeah.
You can actually be at peace and just focus on the question in front of you.
Yeah, correct. And in terms of the content that you actually experienced on the exam day, was it something different or anything that you felt that was out of something regular that you were expecting or you were practicing from the top material itself?
Honestly, no. I felt the paper was very doable. Doable in the sense that given that I had practiced from top material from the start, the paper at the end, like the paper did not feel like a very difficult or very different simulation. Basically, it felt like I was giving one of my mocks. Honestly, the only thing is that top mocks are actually a level like higher. And this is also one more point that I would like to emphasize on. I think usually the program says to give one GMAT official mock before the mock portal, right?
Yes.
I did not comply to that. Initially, it was because I felt I was out of time. But later on, I felt once I give the top mocks and sectional tests, right, I gave the official GMAT mocks, and I felt that they were nothing. They were very easy. So that was actually a very good confidence booster for me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like personally, when I scored well, like so in the top mocks, I was struggling. And I felt that this might result in a very bad result for me, because I initially thought that the top marks are the level of GMAT. So I was really, really worried. But then I gave the official mocks, and I was like, I was, happy and surprised that I got a very good score. So I felt, that this is a point that it needs emphasis, that top mocks are hard. If you don't have a good score in them, don't worry, because they're actually molding you for the easier paper,
Exactly.
which, actually helps later on, and, make sure that you don't face the stress of a paper, because they're accustomed to much harder questions.
Of course. Yeah, that's why usually when someone's asked how should I plan my mocks, it's usually suggested that try to go for the official mock towards the end so that you can push yourself towards the prep by using top mock, and you can get that confidence booster towards the end of your prep. So yeah, it works out perfectly well for many of the cases, including you. And coming on to your future plans after this, you are already in school. Do you have any kind of plans, any solid plans as of right now, like which year you'll be planning on?
So currently, I am looking, looking into multiple opportunities. I had some plans of going to the US particularly, but like, judging by the current geopolitical scenario, like, it's not out of the equation. But I just want to see and take my chances elsewhere as well. I want to explore all over the world. There are multiple colleges in Europe as well. So currently, I'm aiming for deferred MBAs and MIMs.
Okay.
And I'm aiming for these degrees. I'm targeting colleges towards these degrees. If by any chance I don't have a satisfactory offer, then I'll go for the traditional MBA later on. No worries. Like, after working for 2-3 years, I will then apply to the colleges for the traditional MBA itself.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, you're in a very good place to actually make those decisions. And yeah, of course, you have sufficient time to actually see this thing out, how exactly it plays out. So yeah. And lastly, any of the do's and don'ts that you would like to share to the future test takers who would be watching this video now or later on into their prep? Because you are done with this exam and you are on the other side. So anything that you want to share?
Yeah. So yeah, first of all, I would like to say that the first point in my do's is that, like, this mock exams and the mock portal itself is the holy grail. If you have the chance of doing only one study material, right? If you have the time to do only one study material, complete the mock portal. Like, that is all you need, honestly. Because for me, the mock portal was an exact simulation of what the paper was. Even the color of the paper, like, if you understand what I'm saying, even the color of the paper, like the light blue color and all the screens that you have, the split screens, they make you feel that you're giving the real paper every single time, in every single sectional test as well. So it was never a problem. And that, also helped me in my pacing, because giving time tests helped me in understanding how much time it's taking me per question, how much time I need to give per question, per section, and also per the type of question. Like, a data sufficiency question might only take 1 minute, but a multi-source reasoning question might take 3.5. So that helped me manage my time subconsciously as well. Second, like I said, I gave the official marks at the end. I would suggest everyone to do the same. Third was that if confident in a section, don't leave it out. I was confident in Quant, but I still practiced it anyway, and it helped me in the end. Top material is enough. You don't need to follow anything else. Don't fall into the trap of having multiple books and not solving anything completely. Solve whatever questions are given. If you're attending live lectures, then do the pre-work religiously. Honestly, nothing else is required. Solve the questions later on. It's a process. Even if it's not done in the stipulated 3-4 months, that it's ideal, right? If you extend it along to a period that you're comfortable with, you can still easily complete it and easily reach the level of accuracy and confidence that you need. I would also say that when doing the paper, whenever you're giving a mock test, always attempt the sections in ascending order of challenge. So for me, verbal was the weakest section for me, and Quant was the best. So I solved the paper in verbal, DI, and Quant, because you also feel that when you're completing a section, right, it feels like an accomplishment. Rather than solving Quant earlier and exhausting my mental resource, I solved the challenging sections later on, challenging sections early on, and then kept the easy ones to which I was accustomed for the later part of the paper. These were my do's. If I give the don'ts, first of all, it would be don't stress too much, because usually the difficulty of GMAT is very overstated. I personally felt that with a constant regime, with familiarity with the questions, it does not feel like a very, very challenging paper. It's not. Honestly, it's not. If you can solve it well, if you can, basically, it's a game of practice and confidence on the day. It also matters a lot on your luck, how you're feeling that day. Second is like a related point to this: don't delay your first attempt because of underconfidence. I was very underconfident. That resulted in me maybe like taking 3 times more time than required to give my first attempt. I'm pretty sure if in 4 or 5 months of prep, I would have given the paper, I would have scored a similar score, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, doesn't matter, right? Even if you give the first attempt, give it as early as possible because it helps you at least understand what you're giving. And going to a center and giving the paper then allows you to see how human this paper is. That would help you in preparing well and not stressing that much later on. Third is, I would want no one to jump to the questions before familiarizing with the concept. As I said in CR, like blind practice might not have helped me as much as reading through the theory, understanding what the examples were, and then jumping onto the questions and solving them for myself. Fourth is, reattempting a sectional test is not practice. So this is a problem that I faced. This was basically, you can say, disguised productivity for me, so to speak. I used to do a sectional test, and after 2 months, I used to reattempt it. But the point is, once you solve the question and analyze it right, even after 2 months, that question is familiar to you.
Yes,
and that will never be true practice. Last but not the least, I would say, up to 2 days when your exam date is near, don't practice for at least 2 days. Chill for 2 days, go out, go to the movies, have a lunch with your friends. In general, try to keep the exam off your mind because that's the only way you will actually sit back and see that you've done as much as you can. Because if you're practicing till the D-Day, you will always feel that you're lacking behind, and that would result in you being stressed during the paper. That can never help. For me, so I'll tell you, the last 2 days, I actually had my exams. So I had to give the GMAT immediately after my exams, and I had to come to Bangalore for my summer internship. So 26th was my last exam, but still 27th and 26th, half day of 26th, I did not practice at all. I did not do GMAT even a single question because I knew as soon as I opened the book and I started practicing questions, I would feel like, I have a lot to do, even though I did not.
Yes, yes.
And that would result in me stressing over the exam and just messing up the confidence and the accuracy that I usually have. I think that was all. I mean, like, it feels like if I talk to the Aryan who was there in August 2024, it always feels intimidating. It feels like, because the world's giving this paper, you always feel it's very hard, it's very challenging. But the point is, you have to understand that at least 85-90% of the world isn't giving this paper as serious as you will. Like, you joining an institute, having a focused study regime is enough to put yourself in the 95 plus percentile. The 3-4 percentile left after that is all your preparation, honestly. Because this is something that a lot of people don't realize, that not everyone is giving this with the same intensity you are. So if you have a consistent approach, if you have a very disciplined approach, you can easily score this paper. And the best part is you can take as many attempts as you want. So don't beat yourself up if you have a bad score. Because I have had friends, I've seen talks posts online of people, having very, very abysmal scores for 4 attempts and then doing like a very, very shocking score in the 5th one. So honestly, no one is asking you about your 4 attempts then. It's all about the 5th one. Yeah. That's the point. So like, it's a very good paper. It's a very easy to do paper if you are disciplined, if you're consistent, if you learn from your mistakes, and if you just stay confident during the paper and have a stress-free approach for the same. Yeah, I think that's all.
Great. That's a very nice way to put it. Yeah, those are very valuable pointers that you put out. Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm pretty sure that will be very helpful. Yeah, I guess that's all for today. Thank you, Aryan, for your time. And once again, a big congrats on your GMAT 695. And hopefully you'll be in touch, and any kind of journey that you would go to, do update us, any kind of journey that you go for.
Sure, definitely.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Sure, of course. Bye-bye. Have a good day.